Hey everybody, it's Charlene. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to dress up your gift card boxes. So here I have the vintage gift card box and I'm going to be using some pattern paper. So that's the first way you can dress up your boxes is by using pattern paper. And this is the Holiday Wishes paper pad, all kinds of beautiful patterns on there. So I'm going to cut out all the pieces using the vintage gift card box die. Now I'm going to come in here with the Scattered Stars cover plate, and I'm going to show you the second way you can dress up your gift card boxes. You can use your cover plates to die cut your paper that you're using for your gift card box. So you're going to get the impression or the small cutout spots from the cover plate on the paper that you're using, and it's just going to add that extra little bit to your gift card box. So the Scattered Stars cover plate, it cuts out stars here and there, but then it also does some little kind of dot impressions. So it's very pretty. It adds a lot of texture and looks really beautiful. Another way to dress up your gift card boxes is to use some type of metallic or glitter paper or even pattern paper behind the cutout areas that you've created for your gift card box panels. So for instance, if I had cut out all of my pieces in white or any other kind of solid color cardstock, I could use pattern paper behind it, and then any of the cutouts from my cover plate would show the pattern paper through there. I'm using some shimmer paper here. It's kind of a champagne gold. And so all I've done is I've put some liquid glue all the way along the back side of the die cut piece for the gift card box, and then I'm just laying that paper over the top, making sure I get it pressed down really well. And now on the other side, you're gonna see that little bit of shimmer here and there throughout the paper. This does not show up terribly well on camera, so I apologize for that, but it does look really pretty. It just adds a little bit of shine and bling to your gift card box. So I've done it for all of the different pieces here, and now I can go ahead and put my box together. So you'll see that long piece there, it gets glued along the edge of the biggest die cut that doesn't have the side flaps. So I'm just going to add the glue right over the top there. You can see I didn't need to back that piece because it's going to get covered up by this whole piece. If you're not going to back the pieces with some kind of pattern paper or glitter paper, then just keep in mind the size of the cover plate die you're using, the amount of cutouts that it has, because you don't want to run into any issues where you've cut out kind of too much of the paper for the box to sort of stay together. You can use liquid glue or you could use double-sided tape to put your box together. I like to use the liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle time so I can make sure that everything is lined up really well. Now, because I am using liquid glue for everything, it also takes longer to dry, so you kind of have to hold it for just a little bit or put an acrylic block over the top while it dries so that way it stays all stuck together. So you can see I took the small flap on the remaining piece and I glued it underneath the end of the large piece. And I'm just going to make sure that's adhered down really well. And then I'm going to glue the other small flap on the inside of the opposite side. So hopefully that makes sense as you are watching this. This is probably the trickiest spot to glue, but essentially you're going to want to hold it with your fingers for just a few seconds, or if you have any clothespins, you could use those as well just to hold it while it's drying. So once you put your whole box together, it's just gorgeous and seamless, and you have those pretty little sparkly spots. I love how this turned out. You could use whatever you'd like to decorate the top of your box. I'm going to use a couple of different things. Here are the Lovely Layers Candy Cane Honey Cuts, and I'm going to cut out the greenery and ribbon from this set, and I'm going to decorate with those. So I'm cutting out the pine piece here in a nice dark green, and then I'll cut out the holly leaf in kind of a yellowish dark green. And then for my bow, I'm actually going to cut it out both in a nice dark red cardstock, and then I'm also going to cut it out of that same shimmer paper that I used earlier. That's kind of the champagne gold color. And the reason is because I'm going to offset the red on that champagne glimmer, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. Now to add some dimension, completely optional step here, I'm going to go around the edges of my die cuts. You can see I did cut out a second piece of pine as well. Here I'm using some forest moss around the edges of the pine pieces, and then I'm coming in with some rustic wilderness around the edges of the holly piece. And then for the berries, these do end up pretty much getting covered up, but I am going around the edges of those with some aged mahogany. And I'm going to also go around the edges of the bow with aged mahogany as well. I'm also going to come in with a few pieces from the Holiday Treats Vintage Gift Card Box add-on. So this coordinates really well with the vintage gift card box. You've got all kinds of fun things in there. I'm just using a few. I'm going to pull my sentiment from there. It says a little treat. And then I'm also going to pull the candy cane from that set, and I'm stamping that out as well. I'm using the Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink for both of these, and this ink works really well with alcohol ink markers, so I'm actually going to come in and color the candy cane with some very, very simple coloring. And I'm using a red alcohol ink marker, and I'm just going to go in the areas that are shaded on the candy cane. So there's already some line shading on the stamped image. It's really easy to tell where the darker color should go. And once I have that all colored in, I'll use the coordinating die to cut it out as well. So I'm going to start here with a little bit of glue on the top of my box, not quite in the center, but close to the center. And then I've just pulled out a piece of red and white twine, and I'm going to go all the way around the box twice. Now that glue is going to help to hold the twine in place. Once I get it all the way around, I'm going to add even more glue, and just a bunch of glue on there, so that way when it all dries, it will stay in place. And then I'm even going to come in and put a piece of tape over the top just to help hold it in place while that glue is drying. So here I'm coming in with the tape, and then I can trim off the little bit of excess of the twine. You could go around this as many or as few times as you'd like. And now I can add all of my pretty greenery. I've got my two pine pieces. I'm going to put one towards the left of the twine and one towards the right of the twine. And once I have those on there, I'm going to come in here with my holly leaf, and I am going to angle that just a little bit so that way I'm getting to still see the red and white twine peeking through. I want it to be able to be seen once everything is put down on the gift card box. And now I'm putting down the holly berries. You could skip these if you're recreating this gift card box, just because, like I said, you're not going to see them once I add the bow and the sentiment on there. Here's my bow. I'm just dotting glue all the way along the back. This is the dark red, and then I'm going to slightly offset it on that one that we cut out from the champagne glitter paper, and it's going to give that little bit of shine and bling back behind the bow, but it's not going to kind of steal the show. So I like that look a lot of offsetting things. I did cut out the center of the bow using that same shimmer paper, so I'm just going to dot that with some glue in the center of the bow and add the shimmery piece. And then I can glue the whole bow down right on top of everything else that's there. I did cut out 2 extra of the sentiment die cuts, that way I could layer up my sentiment. So I'm just adding some liquid glue in between each layer, and then once I have all 3 layered together, I can pinch around the edges just to make sure that everything is nice and lined up. And that's going to add some extra dimension to my sentiment piece. I repeated the same process for the candy cane. I layered up 2 additional die cuts to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I'm actually going to cut my candy cane right down the middle here because I want to tuck it back behind and make it look like it is at the back of everything that I've put down. And this is also going to make my candy cane look a little bit longer. So I've added some liquid glue to the top portion of the candy cane, and I'm going to get it back behind the bow and everything there and adhere it down. And then I can add some glue to the bottom portion of the candy cane and tuck it in underneath so that it looks like it's one continuous piece back behind everything. Now I can add my sentiment, and that's going to finish off this gorgeous vintage gift card box for the holidays. I hope you picked up some tips and tricks today on how to dress up your gift card boxes. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell so that I can continue bringing you more crafty content in the future. Until next time, happy crafting.